And can I welcome my cast, Amber Heard, Alicia, Vikander, and Eddie Redmayne.
Okay, we're going to start right with you guys. Does anyone in the audience have a question for anyone on stage? Okay, I will kick it off then. I think it's great that we're starting to see a lot more films being made about this subject matter, and I wonder if you could just talk about what drew you to the project, and maybe each of the cast could talk about how you came on board as well.
I fell in love with Lucinda Coxon's beautiful script, as simple as that. I read it late 2008. I was preparing The King's Speech. I knew nothing of the Elder's story at that point, and what was interesting is when I researched on the internet about it, there was at that point precious little about it, and I was struck that such an extraordinarily important story had been kind of overlooked by history. So that drew me to it even more. But it was mainly the emotion of this love story that captured me.
Well, apart from it being such an extraordinary, unique love story, I think I was immediately drawn, also in the prep of making this film with the people that I met in regards of doing good people. I love how, it's quite rare in any film to see a film where it's two, leading roles when you get to follow them quite equally, and that's a lot given to, I think, Tom Hooper, who edited the film. But the fact that it's about Lily transitioning, but meeting other wonderful people who helped me prepare for Gerda, who have been the supportive one, the loved one, who also, to me, wanted to explain that they were as much going through a transition too. That was something that I really carried with me, and I think it's a lovely story about those two people going on this transition together.
Now, for me, I was given the script by Tom while we were making Les Mis, and I was just sucker punched by the emotion of it. As Alicia was saying, this idea of two formidable people going on this journey together, and the notion of love not being defined by gender, not being defined by anything other than two souls meeting, really. And as I started to research and meet people from the trans community who were so overwhelmingly generous with their stories, the notion of the great privilege that it was to play someone like Lily became more and more apparent. And I think for all of us, the stakes just got higher and higher and higher.
I agree. No, I was drawn to this for like you said, it was the subject matter that was compelling. I felt like it was something that moved me, not just because of its cultural relevance, social relevance now, but also the timelessness of really what the story is at its core. It's a story about human beings. It's about the human condition. It's about love and how that can transcend circumstance and the physical body and everything in between. And I was compelled by that. I feel honored to be a small part of it.
Okay, we'll go to you guys. There's just a gentleman in the second row here.
That was such a beautiful film, thank you. This is a completely technical question, but watching the two of you, your scenes together, I never once thought I was watching two actors. And I'm just wondering, when you did those scenes with the tears, where you have to do them over and over and over, how did you do that? Where did you do that?
So there was just a comment about how lovely the film was and how terrific the performances were. And a technical question, because everything felt so natural between Lily and Gerda, what did you do to prepare for that? And also specifically when you were crying, did you do anything for the tears?
Well, you know, when it comes to, you know, we actually started out doing a lot of the scenes at the beginning of the shoot between Lily and Gerda in, you know, the flat in both Copenhagen and in Paris, where a lot of the very emotional scenes are being played out. So it was quite intense to just like jump straight into that. But, you know, when it comes to those things, you can't, the only way to, I don't know, dare to do it, it's quite a human thing just in general to, not wanting to show, I think, when you're that emotional and cry, and it's you need to be in, you know, company with an amazing actor who makes you feel like you can let go. And I think, you know, I truly felt a very strong connection with Eddie the first time I met him, and that goes to Tom as well. You know, to create an environment on set where you feel like you always need to be able to dare to fall over the edge. That's when the interesting things happen.
Yes, just down in front here.
Eddie, I was here last year for Theory, and that was fantastic, obviously. And I was wondering about, earlier in the intros, your preparation for this role, and that you're preparing for a year. Were you also preparing for Theory? And if you were, was there any kind of overlap or confusion? Because both roles are so physical.
The question is for Eddie and about the preparation for this role and also for Theory of Everything. Did they overlap? Was it confusing? They're both very intense and also very physical in nature.
But firstly, guys, also thank you for your generosity this evening. It's so... Tom made reference earlier, before we started the film, about when you've made something and it's a passion project, and our producers have been working on it for 15 years, and you care so much that how it enters into the world, and it really does mean a great deal that you've been so supportive. The preparation for the film, for me, I've been attached to it since Les Miserables, and that's when the education started. There's a very different thing between promoting a film and making it, and the loveliest thing when I was promoting Theory of Everything was having this to ground me in another world of courage. And what was extraordinary was meeting people from the trans community who were so open and generous with their counsel. Every single woman I met, bar none, said, ask me anything, like anything. The need for cisgender people to understand what trans people have gone through is huge and incredibly important. And it was wonderful, but what was most important for me was starting with the mind, starting with the soul of who Lily was. And it was a mixture of reading the history, then reading Lily's book, Man into Woman, which was written, or not written, but published after she died, and some people aren't sure quite how much are her words, but then meeting trans women and trans men, contemporary trans women and trans men, but also women of different generations, and trying to take all of the information together, and meeting their partners, as Alicia said, and hearing about their transitions with their partners, and trying to take all of that information and then find that in ourselves. And it was the thing to sort of, above everything, it was real privilege is what it was, and it felt that the whole way through making it.